All right, everybody, we're going to go over the 16U now, and we're going to combine AC and SpookyNook with this following caveat, is that I do only have one of the 4 games from AC. I know that Josh's dad was recording some of them, if not all of them. So if you do ever get me those 3 remaining games, I'll be more than happy to upload these and include them in the stats, and I'll be happy to review them as well. But for now, we're going to just continue on with the AC, the 1 game I was able to get, and the 3 SpookyNook games. And I'll also let you know, this is the second time I'm doing this recording, right back to back. The first one had muted sound. So I'm going to be doing this again, but I'm glad I'm going to be doing it again because I'm going to emphasize a lot of things that I went over in the video that you didn't see. So this first game, Philly Pride, this is the 1 game I attended and at AC. And I mean, I have to say, I was so happy to see it. You know, as we were kind of struggling in the end of the first half, Chris said to me, he says, Eric, you win. I mean, you could go ahead and press the whole second half. And it was so much fun. I mean, watching you guys just kind of pick up the pace and ratchet up the pressure and run them out of the gym, okay, is exactly what you need sometimes with this group, you know. And it was, again, a lot of fun to see. And in certain situations, this group has this type of ability in their arsenal to increase the pace to, you know, to get wins where otherwise you might struggle. But in any case, we're going to go through these 4 games that I have. And I want to preface this by saying that, I mean, the improvement that I'm seeing from my vantage point is just incredible. And I'm really proud of all you guys. And as you finish off the season and look towards next season as well, I want you guys to continue to improve. And I don't just mean from skills. I just mean in your overall approach to shot selection and things that we've been talking about in these videos. And hopefully, you know, the coaches can continue to learn from this as well, and pass that along, just to kind of see, just because if you see the improvement from the beginning of the season to the end, at least from my perspective, it looks incredible. So anyway, let's take a look at the games. First, this Philly Pride game that we just described. The effective field goal percentage, 49%. But as you'll see, you know, as we got into the second half and decided to pick up the pace a little bit, the effective field goal percentage got to be much greater. Now, the turnover rate, 22%, couple of things about that. Yes, it's not good, but a couple of I don't want to say excuses, but a couple of qualifiers. Number one, we did not have our point guard, right? So Josh was not there. And whenever you play a faster pace than you're used to, you're just going to turn the ball over. It's just going to happen. But for this group, I'm willing to live with that for the reward of getting a lot easier shots and more turnovers for the other team. So in any case, 49% effective field goal percentage, really, really good. Let's take a look at the offensive rebound percentage. Was obviously really strong, well over 30%. Let's take a look at the shot chart. So the shot chart is just good to excellent. Only 4 bad 2s out of 53, which is exactly what we want to see. And as we get into these other games this weekend, you know, this is going to be a recurring theme. I almost want to cry at how much better you guys are with this now compared to the beginning of the season. But in any case, let's look at the box score. Brandon, 1 out of maybe 4 games that we're going to highlight here where you really showed out. So 6 for 12, 3 for 7 from 3. 16 points, really, really nice game. Farvin struggled. Josh did his thing, 7 for 10, all at the rim. Mike, he was solid. Nolan, 2 for 4 from 3. But overall, Brandon, I mean, you really took this opportunity with Josh out to really just kind of take on this type of role, and just a really, really nice game, pretty much for everybody. But, you know, I don't want to single anybody out, but anyway, but Brandon just kind of showed out in this game and basically the whole weekend. Anyway, overall, pretty good across the board. And we really just ran him out of the gym in that second half. Pretty decent performance. let's move on now to the games that I had over at, which are all of them over at SpookyNook. So what order are we going to take these in? I'm going to do this. Let's just start with the Gauchos game because I think that was the first game. In the Gauchos game, 52% effective field goal percentage, which is, I mean, this is, now we're getting there. This is really, really good against a pretty good team. Now, again, you have a 27% turnover rate, but when you're playing a faster pace, you're just naturally going to turn the ball over more. Not that it's an excuse, but I'd rather trade in some turnovers in the name of getting easier shots. And that's what you guys did. Let's take a look at the shot chart here versus Gauchos. I mean, how good is this? Only 2 bad twos in the whole game. Now, the one thing I will say is that you guys are 3 for 11 finishing from the left side. And this is actually kind of a program-wide issue. It might be an industry-wide issue, but everybody seems to be struggling finishing from this left side, all age groups. So that's something to address maybe in training over the off season or at any time. But overall, the shot chart is just excellent. Let's take a look at the box score and see who showed out in this game. Gauchos. Brandon, let's go. 4 for 9 from 3. I mean, have we turned a corner yet? Shooting threes? Maybe. Hope so. Just excellent work. 24 points. Now you did have 7 turnovers, or he, depends who was watching, did have 7 turnovers, which, you know, look, it's not your normal position to play point guard. I don't even know you're in point guard, but I presume. And so, and when you're playing at a fast pace, you're gonna turn the ball over more. But overall, I'll live with it. I really will. Maybe I won't live with 7, but more turnovers you're just gonna have to live with in the name of playing faster and getting better shots on the offensive end. This game, Leo didn't really produce. Nolan, not bad. Mike, not bad. Farvins, again, had 0. Definitely need to work on your offense over the course of the season, the off season, but this is excellent. I mean, just literally no complaints at all. Nolan, 5 assists, and you got a good win over a good team with your point guard out, which is, this is just awesome. All right, let's go on to the game against, we'll get back to team push in a second. Let's go to global squad, okay? 58% effective field goal percentage. Let's effing go, okay? This is just, I mean, where were you all season? Well, what you were doing is probably playing too slow because, again, you can't have everything. And you had 29% turnover rate, which is, obviously you don't want to see that. But again, I will live with it with this group because I'd rather you guys play a fast-paced game that gets a little out of hand, a little out of control, than try to grind out these slow-paced games against these expert, you know, double screen, back screen teams, okay? This is what we get, and you get good shot selection, you get nothing but layups and threes, and this is, I'm presuming we're gonna see this in the shot chart. It's exactly what happens. Let's see. Global squad, let's take a look. Boom. Only 4 out of 41 bad twos, which is how you win. Let's pull up the box score against global squad. Brandon, again, 4 for 5, 2 for 3 from 3. Not bad. I guess the thing is, the reason why you only played 19 minutes is you had 4 fouls, I presume. 4 turnovers. Again, I will live with it. I will live with it. Leo, 3 for 6 from 3. Excellent. Nolan, 1 for 1 from 3. Farvins, again, struggles offensively, but, you know, you work on it. Josh, always counted on over the rim. Connor, 2 for 2. Just everybody participating, everybody producing. really, really nice job. And you got the W. Okay, let's take a look at the. Okay, so this is, I'm gonna call this the last game, but it's not the last game. It was the second to last game, and this was that horror show against Team Push where you guys lost in overtime. Now look, I know it was a BS call with the illegal screen, but that doesn't mean that you didn't have 5 other wide open threes, okay, in the overtime that you could have hit. The other thing is that you look at this and your effective field goal percentage was ridiculously poor. So 35%, this is what we saw earlier in the season. However, there is a silver lining here. And I hope you guys can appreciate this. When you look at the results here, you were 3 for 22 from 3, okay? But let's look at the shot chart here. Shot chart versus Team Push. Okay. And when you do what I do, when you invest in stocks and when you play poker or whatever, this is the way you analyze. You only had one bad 2. This was an incredibly perfect shot chart, almost perfect. So then, what's the deal? So why we shooting 35%? I know you're not going to want to hear this, but it's just the way the basketball gods operate sometimes. I mean, variance is rough. It's rough in the stock market. It's rough in gambling. It's rough in the real world. And all you can do is put yourself in a position where the percentages are on your side. And that's all you can do sometimes. And as long as the people taking these threes were the people we want taking them, that's literally all I can ask for. I'd rather this shot chart with these results than one of those other ugly shot charts where half your shots were bad 2s that happen to have gotten lucky, okay? This I will live with, even though you didn't make anything, okay? Like, for example, let's look at the box score. Box score for Team Push. I just want to make sure the right people are taking the shots. And look, you have Nolan, who is going 1 for 6. We have Brandon going 1 for 11. Are we expecting Brandon to go 1 for 11? No. I mean, he's probably somewhere between 3 for 11 and 4 for 11. Are we expecting Nolan to go somewhere but, to go 1 for 6? No. We're expecting something more like 2 for 6. If all these guys did was shoot normal, you guys went easy. And that's just the way it goes sometimes. I know sometimes you don't want to hear that, but that's the bottom line. All you got to do is put yourself in a position to win. And sometimes it just falls, sometimes it just doesn't. But, overall, think about it this way. You had an almost perfect shot chart. You couldn't make anything, and yet still you almost won. Okay. So believe it or not, I don't have an issue with this performance at all, even though you didn't make it. So let's take a look at the stats for the season. And once again, I mean, you don't see it the way I see it. Right? You guys might think that, well, we didn't win championships or whatever it is. But first of all, you have another tournament left. And from my perspective, the improvement I see is just incredible. Right. So let's first look at the stats, then we'll look at shot charts. Group by athlete, totals. Let's look at effective field goal percentage, and let's see who's over 50% for the season. Sorry about that. That's what we want. We want effective field goal percentage over 50. Okay. All right, so we'll rank them by effective field goal percentage, and you have Philip in his limited time. I mean, he's very efficient. Josh obviously over 50, Osagi over 50, the bigs over 50. I would like to work on getting these guards over 50, but I'm telling you, over the course of the season, you guys have gotten better at this. And you compare some of the earlier games against weaker competition, right? You were worse. And that's one thing to think about with respect to your improving numbers. You're improving numbers as the competition got better, which means that improvement is even greater than that. So, we'll get this stuff over 50 eventually, but listen, nothing but props for how you've improved. Like, for example, let's take a look at the shot chart. Shot chart for the whole season, for example. And I want to illustrate something by pounding this into not even so much the kids, but the coaches, is your effective field goal percentage for the season was 47%. We wanted 50. Okay, we didn't have the greatest offensive team, so we didn't get there. But you got better over the course of the season. And you look at your breakdown, this is the big breakdown I always think about of bad twos versus whatever. So you guys had about 12% of your threes of your shots being bad twos. And that's not what you want. I mean, you want it at about 5%, but the improvement over the season. Remember the first couple of videos I did, you guys were about 20% of your shots, right? And your effective field goal percentage was awful. And as your shot selection improved, your effective field goal percentage improved. And just to remind you, I mean, look at this. I mean, you shot 38% in your bad twos. And it's not just you, 17s, the 15s, everybody. All the teams shoot this, which is why you can't take these shots, you know, and even your 30% 3-point percentage translated to better when you consider that these were for 3 than your 38% from 2, right? So imagine if you translated half of these into these and another half into these, how much better you even would have done. But the fact that you've turned it around somewhat and have been getting, you know, a much better ratio of good twos and good threes to your bad twos. I mean, it really shows that you guys listen and you work together and all good. So listen, you got another tournament left. And I expect you to continue to, I don't know who I'm talking to. I'm saying you, coaches, players, whatever. I expect them to continue to improve and maybe take something down this weekend. I really think they can win this Virginia thing. I do. As long as they know that if they play one of these slow teams, to just throw caution to the wind and press, right? And keep these ratios, you know, look, the kids aren't thinking about ratios during the game, right? As coaches, you have to pound on them, you know, bad too, you know what I mean, or good shot, you know, otherwise they're just going to think that they're all the same. And then as you think about, you know, improvement into next year, what shots are you going to work on? Are you going to work on these bad twos, or are you going to work on the good threes and the finishes, you know? So anyway, this will be, well, there'll be one more video after the Virginia tournament, but that'll do it for AC and Spooky.